Hello everyone! Welcome to another Advanced Wars by Web replay analysis. Today we're going to get into a fog game. So this is a match on the map Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is a 24K income map with all properties captured. We have one comm tower per side, though the comm towers appear to be slightly contested. I would imagine this comm tower should go to pink, and this comm tower should go to red. Actually, let's go ahead and change pink to blue and make this easier to see. Okay, so this comm tower should probably go to blue, and this comm tower should probably go to red. That's my inclination, but I imagine there's a lot of ability to contest these two. There's one airport. It's tucked away in the back. It's not a very forward airport. And you do have a port, which is pre-captured. You also have this black boat that's on your HQ. And you're definitely going to want to utilize this black boat because it helps you slingshot infantry out into the center or to just helpful areas. It really speeds up the capture. However, what's really interesting with this black boat is it's at 6 HP, and the only place you can put it where it's helpful to pick up units from your bases is on your pre-captured port. So utilizing it is not free, right? The first time you use it, it's going to cost you 15k funds, or sorry, 1.5k in funds to repair up to 8, and the second time another 1.5k funds to repair to full. So it costs you 3k in total if you want to use it twice. So it's kind of a give and take. It can mess up your funds. Let's see how this plays out. I haven't watched this replay yet, but I think that's a really interesting dynamic going on there. This is a map created by Dr. Noxious, and this is a live league game that took place recently. The two players today. We have a player with a Chinese name. Sorry for my pronunciation here. I believe it's Juqin Wai, which means beyond the highest heavens. This is according to Google Translate, so if it's wrong, sorry, and I'm sure my pronunciation is terrible. And his opponent is Valdudu. I'm going to call the player 1 here Adder, just to make it simple. And I'll call Valdudu Koal just for fairness. My Mandarin was better. I would pronounce his name, but unfortunately, I'm not very good at Mandarin. All right, so let's just go ahead and jump right in this game and see how it goes. And we'll have vision for both players, but we'll just remember that, of course, players don't have vision. All right. So. Let's go ahead and see what happens. So you're going to capture your properties as expected, right? Just get these two right away, especially the pre-capped one. This is just pre-capped for blue, just for fun purposes, to make sure that tank timings are correct. You're always going to capture that as red first, and if you don't, that's basically an automatic loss. So on games where there's pre-capped properties, especially pre-capped factories for your opponents, make sure you capture those first. Okay, Valdudu's going to capture his neutral one, build the infantry. This, of course, is going to go for this neutral base next. Neither player's moved their black boat yet. Makes sense. You don't want it to repair yet. You, of course, also can keep your black boat in your HQ to help prevent capping it, but you're going to want to use it to slingshot your infantry forward. So it looks like he's going to use this to immediately send this infantry out. I think this is a mistake, because this infantry is going to go capture this pre-owned base. This infantry should go across the river to this city. So I think you should wait one more turn and then take the double infantry you're going to build and throw them both out. Let's see how it plays out. Valde sends infantry towards the base, builds infantry, and keeps his black boat. So looks like Valde has the same idea as I do. I think it's a bit more natural for player 2, to be honest, because they're going to send their 2 infantry across the rivers, and then the turn after, it's really nice to then send the black boat. So might be a slight player 2 advantage. Let's see. Okay, loads up the infantry, drops it off. Probably it's going to go for this forward city. It's a bit annoying about these cities is there's no capture chains until you get to like these guys. Well, just this capture chain here. Maybe he'll go here, maybe here afterwards, and then back down, capture chain all these. We'll see. And by the way, when I say capture chain, it just means it's a city that's within 3 infantry movement of another city. So that way, when you capture one, you can immediately start capturing the next one on the next turn. Okay, so Valdudu goes for these immediate cities right next to the bases, and he sends his black boat back. And you notice you have a lot of extra funds because you start with a lot of cities capped. You have the city in the corner pre-capped, you have your HQ, and the port pre-capped. It's an extra 3k funds per turn that you normally wouldn't have on normal games. So let's see what Adder does here. So Adder is capping those cities, capping neutral base, sends the infantry forward as expected, brings the black boat back, builds 2 infantry, and I'm sure these guys are going to get slingshotted probably out to here. Probably one's going to go one's going to go over here, one's going to go over here. One infantry is going to capture this city, one infantry is going to capture that city. Probably this guy is going to go forward and go for these 2. Valdudu loads up and brings it over here. Going to capture these 2 cities, it looks like. Builds more infantry. So you notice like he has funds. He could be building like recons, but he's not doing that because more infantry early on is really important to get your captures going. So Adder moves forces forward. Yep, one's going to go here, one's going to go here. Valdudu's doing the same. Koal is doing the same thing. And then this infantry is going to go up here, capture this. This guy went from here, is going to go here. I assume the same thing's going to happen over here. This infantry is going to go on the mountain. This infantry is going to wrap around here. This guy's going to capture the airport. Yep. And Koal builds a tank and infantry and a tank. Is the black book going to come back? No. Looks like Koal didn't want to incur the repair costs again. I think I might have sent the black book back one more time and built 2 infantry again. But I'm greedy, so this might be better. Okay, Adder's doing the same thing. And okay, this guy's gonna go pretty forward. Looks like it's gonna capture maybe this city and then the comm tower, or maybe comm tower first and then slink back over here. We'll see. I think they're gonna go comm tower first. That's my gut feeling. And I guess you already have pretty high income, so it's maybe not as impactful, but I don't know. I like my money. I like to go for cities before comm towers. Adder builds tank and tank here, so similar to how Koal built. Sends the units forward, nothing too special there. Brings the black boat back now, builds double infantry. Okay, so tanks are out to kind of protect your forward caps, I guess for next turn. I do think it could have been 1 turn delayed. Yeah, I think these tanks could have been 1 turn delayed, so I think I'm right. This was a slight mistake. In terms of just protecting your caps, because you're not going to see caps, aggressive caps that you can deny with these tanks. Okay, so this infantry slinks back over here. I don't like that. So I think this should go to this 13-13, and then it can slink back to 12-15, and then chain it to 14-16. It seems weird to do that. I think this comm tower maybe is a bit aggressive, and also you don't need the comm tower immediately, but this seems a little too wimpy. Like, yeah, you're worried about maybe like a recon over here, but like if there's a recon here, that would have caused a lot of economic damage on its own to Koal to build a recon so early and get it out over here. So I don't know, it seems a little weird to me. Okay, loads up the 1 infantry, just scoots it forward a little bit over here. That's fine. And builds double tank and infantry. Notice that both players are building their vehicles from this back base rather than infantry from this base. It's because infantry can get out a little faster from these bases by the rivers than from this back base. And vehicles are no slower, right? So the vehicles everywhere this can reach, same thing it could reach from this base, equivalent vehicle distance. In fact, actually a little bit better because of this forest here. Of course, if you want to go to the right side, vehicles are better from this base. So it makes sense. You want to build a vehicle from the back base. You can probably build vehicles from this right base, and then this base here, you want to build infantry from this one. More of this base is the worst base to build vehicles from. So when you'd like to build infantry, you should build it from this base. Okay, keeps the caps, and we drop them off here. So they're gonna go for these 2 cities. That kind of makes this infantry without a job. Maybe it's gonna go to this road here, or I guess it could go on the mountain. Okay, so I think this is a mistake. There's no reason for this infantry to be on the road. The infantry should have been on the mountain, so you can see if anything's capping this comm tower. So that way you could, use this infantry to interrupt, right? So you shouldn't cap this right away. You should put this on the comm tower, get your vision, because infantry on the mountains have 5 vision. See if anything's capping the comm tower, and then you can interrupt with this infantry if you want to. So it's a slight mistake. Luckily, it's not going to come to bite him, but no reason to. And being in this square versus this square shouldn't matter for capping cities. And in fact, this square might be more beneficial. So, I think a slight mistake. Okay. And builds a copter. I like that. While this back airport's kind of weak, because it's so far away from reinforcement, it's not that much worse than vehicles. In fact, I think it's actually a little faster than vehicles as well, just because they don't incur terrain costs. And copters are pretty flexible here, right? They can front shift from either side. Vehicles can do that too, right? There are a lot of shoals they can go across, but it's kind of hard to have an anti-air on both sides. So I think copters are pretty good. Plus, gets you more units out, right? Because you can build 3 infantry or 3 units from your bases, and then build an additional unit from your airport. So it gets your unit count up. Okay. And Adder finishes his captures. And we have the first enemy unit spotted. Infantry goes in the forest. Note that units do not see other units in forests. And even though this forest is within 2 vision range of this infantry, it can't see them enter the forest. And even though the forest is in vision, if you enter a forest from out of vision, you don't see that unit enter it. So Koal has no idea this infantry is in this forest. Okay, this tank moves up. Good backup there. Moves this infantry just over here, I guess, to go on the black boat. Builds a lot of infantry. I'm not sure about that. You could at least put the infantry on the river. I think that's a bit of a mistake. The black boats can only carry 2 units. I guess this infantry is going to go across the river, and maybe both these guys are going to get ferried. It seems a little weird to me. Okay, tank goes on the comm tower just to see if anything's capping either of these 2 cities. Really just this city, to be honest. Because Koal wasn't thinking about capping the comm tower anyway. I don't know. I might have put the tank in the forest, either this forest or that forest. Because you can maybe try going for the comm tower too. You have 2 tanks backing it up. And yeah, it seems like you're pretty strong. You might want to think about it. It'd be hard to see the comm tower here. I mean, going for this city is great. I guess maybe Koal's thinking I'll go for the comm tower next turn. I want to go for these immediate captures first. Okay, yeah, so see, it didn't matter. He was going to capture the city with the infantry anyway, so could have been anywhere. Okay, doesn't go for this capture. It's going to go for these two, it looks like. So no importance to the comm tower. I don't like the comm tower. Like, I don't think the comm tower is that good, but I think the sequencing is a little ambitious. We'll see. And note, Koal is down income right now, down 2k income over Adder. I think Adder went for maybe more safe caps quicker, and Koal went for some more aggressive caps. So we'll see how that evens out in time. Brings the black boat back. I'm going to predict more infantry. Okay, a mech. Interesting. Yeah, with the black boat, it makes mechs much more viable. It gets in the center really fast. Question is fighting going to happen close to these shoal areas? We'll have to see. Mechs are great on movement COs like Adder and Koal because mechs only have 2 movement normally, which is the real downside. But when you're Adder or Koal, you can CO power or super to gain 1 or 2 movement, either increasing their movement by 50% from 2 to 3 or by 100% from 2 to 4, which is quite a significant increase. Okay, goes for these chains. So there's not been a lot of fighting yet. It's day 9. There's been very little fighting. We get our first engagement here. And we see here that Adder uses the roll 3. Hits the unit with 1, clears with the other, puts the third on top. This is an important rule to adhere to. This, so like notice what would happen if we didn't, Adder didn't put the infantry on top of this city. Then we would have Koal putting his tank on the city, hitting Adder's tank and getting a very nice trade. So this is why you need to do the roll 3. So now, you know, Koal can still hit this tank, but it'll be from the road, so it's not very good. And also gets to start the capture, so it's pretty annoying for Koal. Really good engagement there from Adder. And then also starts capping this comm tower. Notice this. Note this is out of vision for Koal, so Koal has no idea this is happening. And Adder has 3 tanks in the area, so it's actually a bit of a blessing in disguise. That probably Koal doesn't want to attack the city anyway, and even if it was open, it actually might go worse, because if it was open, he would throw the tank in and then lose it to these 2 tanks. So probably it's nice for Valdudu that nice for Koal here that he's gonna just back up, probably, because there's not really a fight you can take here. Okay, copter goes forward, blows up double infantry, sends them forward like that. Makes sense. These are 2 sea tiles here, and there's 2 sea tiles here. Man, they blend in with shoals so well. There is a difference. At least they're more different than rivers, and there is a point to make these areas more disconnected. But man, I wish there was a way to make it higher contrast and more clear that they're sea versus shoal tiles. So that's why the infantry is getting unloaded here rather than this tile, because this tile really has nowhere to go. Okay, builds anti-air, smart. You want to be building anti-air when you think your opponent might have copters. So a good rule of thumb in Fog is probably build your anti-air somewhere around day 7 to day 10. Probably 8 or 9 is best. You don't want to build too many, because if your opponent just doesn't build copters, your vehicle's down essentially in the tank fights. And you don't want to build none, because if you build none, then copters will just completely annihilate you. So what Adder looks like he's going to do is going to send the anti-air to one side and the copter to the other. So that kind of covers copters on both sides. You can also use your own copters as deterrents, but I think anti-air they're obviously a lot better at deterring copters than copters are. Okay, so Koal goes for these aggressive captures. These are actually out of vision, so Koal's probably going to get them all. Though notice Koal's not starting this comm tower capture, so Koal's probably going to be down a comm tower for at least a little bit. And Koal sends their units over here saying, okay, you look like you're strong over here, that's probably where you're going to fight. I don't need to send more stuff over there. probably stronger over here. Now, Koal only saw this one tank and these 2 infantry, so they're not sure how much is there, but they can kind of maybe guess there's probably a lot of stuff. And it looks like just backs off. Positions tanks aggressively. Moves over here just to see if there's anything capping. I guess. It's pretty unlikely there'd be a tank ready to fight, so, and even if there is, there's this tank covering. Yeah, it's fine. Okay, these copters are very defensive. I might have this one a little bit more forward to cover this capture. It'd be ridiculous to attack this, but, you know, you never know. I'm not sure why it would need to be, you know, this far back. Probably could be, like, right here at 1102. Because this doesn't cover anything special on this side. Builds another copter, and then artillery to infantry. I'm not sure where's a good artillery spot in this map. Probably maybe this forest would be good to help you cover capturing this city. This forest is very far forward. I don't know. I'll have to see what Koal does with this artillery. I think they built it because the funds lined up for it, but we'll see how much it accomplishes. Zadder's turn. Gets the comm tower. Moves aggressively forward. And we're basically at split income now. Adder is at 21k. It's probably going to get to 23k next turn, which is just 1k short of split map. So we'll see if he gets there. Looks like Koal will get to 22k next turn. So we'll see if Koal can get to the last little bit that he wants to get to. Okay, loads up an infantry, but doesn't move the black boat. Gonna load one more next turn. Okay, moves infantry into the forest. Getting ready to capture this comm tower. Gets to 22k income. Starts capping for 23k. And keeps pretty defensive. Just 2 copters covering with 1 tank here. And incoming towards it are 3 tanks, a copter, and an anti-air. So this is stronger than these forces by a good amount. There is a mech here too, but it's not ready to fight anything yet. On this side, Koal is stronger. He's got 2 tanks, with a copter coming in and an artillery. And Adder is sending in 2 tanks and anti-air. Builds another tank, copter, double infantry. Makes sense. Okay, hold on. So he sees the tank from the forest here, goes for the hit, the road, goes for the hit. This clear is a 33% chance. If he gets this clear, it's really good, because this infantry can go sit on the city, start capturing, or this tank can go in the city, hit the infantry. Because he doesn't get it, you know, he just goes for all these hits. Seems reasonable to me. And then the anti-air covers all but 1 tank. But if the fight starts, probably Adder can get a power and then hit these copters with the anti-air regardless. Plus, has a copter of his own covering, so there's really double coverage for all the units. I think this is a pretty tough attack to fight into. Though, I will say, I think Adder is punching on both fronts, right? If you're going to fight over here, don't fight over here, right? Because if you're fighting over here, you're hoping you're stronger here, and that they're maybe have more stuff over here. If you attack on both fronts, you're going to lose on one of those fronts. So attack where you're strong, and hold back where you're weak. If he knew that Koal didn't have stuff here, like he had some sort of vision to see there's no stuff, sure. But he doesn't know. Both players, I will say, also don't have recons to get any vision. I think recons can be pretty good here. I know they take a while to get out, so they're not really good for harassing, but you can just plunk them in some forest and just get some vision. I think it'd be really good. Okay, especially because there's no mountains where you're fighting, right? There's a mountain here, but that doesn't give you that much information for fighting on your own side. Okay, clears out that infantry, attacks that tank. Koal is getting his road bonuses on these copters. The 3 HP tank wraps around, hits that infantry. Looks like infantry went for a hit. No, it just moves. It might have attacked the 1 HP tank, especially because the infantry is on a city. Okay. Attacks in. Yep, just hit all the infantry. It makes sense to me. Just catching up, yeah. Looks like moving the artillery in. Very delayed in capturing this comm tower. Looks like the fight will go okay, but it's going to take a minute to get to the stuff he wants to capture here. Drops off the infantry, repairs that copter, covers this copter, and the mech is covering it as well. Well, the mech is revealed. Could that? I don't think the mech could have been hidden. I think it was over here. So, fair enough. Another copter, and it covers with CO power, which probably Koal will get next turn. Copter gets cleared out, but the mech can hit it. Tank gets cleared. Keeps capturing, and we get the side slip coming in. So, tank comes in. 1 HP tank comes in to reveal its infantry in the forest. Hit, hit, cleared. Copter comes in, hits that copter. Oh, it's brutal. Tank comes in, hits the neck. Oh, this is a really powerful attack. So, to make this a good fight, Koal's going to need to clear out this anti-air somehow. So, I think with a super, he can maybe make it work. 10 fights over on this side. And builds a Neo Tank, base skip Neo Tank. So a surprise Neo Tank is a lot of power in Fog, but base skipping is very rough to do. I don't know. We'll see how it pays off. I think triple tank might have been better, or getting another copter with 2 tanks infantry. Okay. Copter is pulled back, kills the 1 HP tank. Copter hits that 5 HP, the tank in the forest. Clears up that infantry. It just takes some infantry engagements. Clears out that guy. Oh, doesn't quite clear him out. That defense from the power. And finally gets enough charge for the super. Koal was so close for so long, I had to just keep taking these small little engagements. Gets the super. And now this tank reaches. Copter comes in from the road, knocks it down to 1. Tank comes in, knocks it down to 3. This mech can go all the way over here. Okay, hits this tank instead. Hold on. Yeah, hits the tank. Clears out that infantry. Starts capturing. And now these guys can start capturing the comm tower. Blocks, and then artillery is in position to defend the comm tower. Okay. Okay, I don't mind that. Infantry attacks this infantry. Okay, fair enough. That infantry is pretty much dead anyway. Okay, builds copter tank, double tank infantry. So Koal here is going for more units rather than more like teched up units. And Koal is up 7 units now. Koal is down 1k income and a comm tower, but probably Koal's going to get 1 capture off next turn, and probably this comm tower, so he'll even it up. But I think Adder's going to capture this city, and looks like this one too. So, I don't know. We'll see. Puts the black boat over here just kind of as a blocker, protecting the HQ a bit. I think it's a good idea. Yeah, so Koal's starting to get pretty low, pretty far down in income. Not a tremendous amount, but significant. Also, both players are kind of low in time at this point. It's 8:13. They're both at 7 minutes and 40 seconds. Not the worst, but it is, you know, you're kind of using up all the time you banked up from the opener, right? You start with 5 minutes, and then you get 2 minutes per turn, so we're getting lower on time, but not quite increment, not quite, you know, move fast time. This is crazy, right? This 3 HP comes in, hits the copter, knocks it down to 6, and gets cleared. That's that road attack. Hits the infantry. Tries capturing this. This, I don't like this. This is just never going to go through. Now, it will force Koal to use vehicles to stop it. No, actually, this guy can attack. So, not even. I think this is just a bit of an aggressive capture. Like, it's kind of a Mang's infantry, right? It's just out here doing a capture that's never going to go through. I think you would be better served maybe going for this city. This is much more contestable, I think. So Koal gets the comm tower. Remembers to capture the comm tower before attacking. This is a advanced technique that I always forget to do. And this, I love when players make smart decisions like this. So why is this a smart decision? So this needs to protect this tank. And really only going to go to this tile. But it's really good protecting because if this tank gets hit, it's going to want to get hit from the city, which the artillery is going to be pointed at. I've fallen for this trick so many times, let me tell you. And notice, Koal does not go for this capture here because it doesn't really belong to him. Like, that's way too aggressive in a capture, right? There's like tanks over here. You know, Koal doesn't know exactly, but notice there's some tanks in the area. Certainly there's some tank here. So like, it's just never going to go through, and you don't want to like throw away your units for no reason. Clears out that copter, clears out the infantry, and then starts this capture again. So it looks like it's going to just flip it back. Of course, Adder can interrupt this, but like, this really doesn't belong to Adder. It's going to, you know, get flipped eventually. And he'll flip that infantry back to full. Moves the copter forward to cover all of his units there. And we have the tank covering almost everything. And this tank covers the rest. And with 21k builds copter, tank, double infantry. So I will mention that mech was okay. Didn't accomplish a lot, but maybe it baited a tank in. I think it was okay. I would say that Adder has a slight advantage here, right? They're up 3k, and they're only down 4k unit value at the start of their turn, so typically you want to be half a turn ahead at the end of your turn. So you would expect to be up like 11k unit value at the end of your turn. But just fights have gone a little bit better for Adder, and he's had a little bit more income this game. Not something that Koal can't overcome, but just a slight advantage. 2 tanks clear out that infantry. Anti-air comes in, clears out the copter. Tank hits the infantry, copter hits the infantry again, and tank sits on the city. Okay. Obviously we can see these tanks here protecting it. I think it's just a bit aggressive. Like, you're just really going on your opponent's side of the map. It's pretty easy for 2 tanks to be here and just clear out this anti-air, and then a copter to clear out this copter. I think unless you have backup for it, you really can't do this. And there's no units coming in afterwards. You don't want to attack when you cut off your reinforcements. You want to attack when there's reinforcements streaming behind, so you can continue the fight. This only works if Koal has absolutely nothing here, right? If there's nothing to hit it this turn, this is good. If there was just 1 or 2 vehicles, it's good. But if Koal has 3 vehicles, it's no longer good. If you had tanks streaming behind this, go ahead, go wild. Your copters coming behind this, go ahead. But without reinforcements, this is a really bad attack, because even if Koal doesn't get a decisive advantage in this fight afterwards, Koal has a much easier time to reinforce this than you do. So you should have reinforcements already going. So I would have liked to not go for that. Maybe just go for the interrupt, like with the 5 HP tank or something, and then fight hard next turn. I think it's a bit too much there. You could also maybe hang back with the anti-air, but I don't know. Okay, we go for this attack here too. So this is also just really aggressive. You know, this is not your side of the map. And they can see, oh no, there's a artillery there. And critically, this tank doesn't know if it can hit the artillery, right? It's in range to hit it, but it doesn't know if there's anything on this road or in this forest. There isn't, but it doesn't know that. And it can't risk going for the hit and getting trapped and not hitting anything, so it just shifts over here. And this Neo tank is lurking, but it's not covering anything yet. Of course, it covers with the seal power, but as it turns out, probably no tanks are going to hit this. Probably it's going to be an anti-air, or probably it's going to be this artillery, and then the copter. And builds another Neo tank and 2 infantry. The funds line up for it. I think you just want more units. You want more vehicles. You have 1 copter left, and it's probably about to die. I think you'd want to build more copters here. I think this is a slight mistake. Plus, you already have 1 Neo tank. When it gets revealed, Koal's going to build something to deal with this Neo tank. There's really three or four ways you can deal with the Neo tank, okay? The first is to build your own Neo tank. That's okay. It's not the most effective because it's just fighting fire with fire, right? You'd have to take a better engagement, catch it out. It's maybe the safest way, but the trickiest to make work. Requires the most skill. The second is you can use artillery, but to do that you have to kind of bait the tank to go somewhere where it doesn't know the artillery is. It's pretty hard to do that. It requires a bit of luck, a bit of baiting. So it's tough. Third way is copter spam. Just kill the Neo tank with a bunch of copters. A Neo tank on like a plains takes about 2 from a copter, deals 2 back. So it's about 3 times as cost effective. Neo tank loses 6k in funds, copters lose like 2k. So like 3 copters kind of neutralize the Neo tank. And the fourth way is a bomber. And I think that's probably what Koal's going to want to do once he sees this Neo tank. Why is bomber best? Because it just counters the Neo tank. Neo tank can't fight back. You need a fighter or anti-air to counter the bomber. Okay, so he goes for chips down the anti-air, clears out the tank, and hits the copter. That anti-air is still going to do a lot to that copter. The copter hits the Neo tank, it hits the tank, gets killed. Looks like he's just going for CO power. Nope, just hitting it. So it seems like you should have just kept the copter. You know, 2 HP copters are still useful. They're decent walls. They, you know, can hit things for random chip damage. It could just be annoying. Copter comes in and hits. I will say also Adder's pretty low in time now, down to 2 minutes 40 seconds. Okay, backs up. Copter's covering everything, so even if there's another copter coming in, this copter covers. This anti-air is going to do pretty good work on this copter. I don't think it'll die. Let's see. Probably Adder CO powering, so let's see that. 245, 43 to 45. Pretty good damage. Copter's going to go down to like 3 or 2. And Koal builds a bomber without even seeing the Neo tank. I think because they were 25k funds, so it's great for bomber, triple infantry. But I think bomber is a good buy regardless. He hasn't seen any other anti-air other than this, and it's about to die. And kind of going, hey, surprise bomber. I got decent tank count. I got a lot of copters. Let's get a bomber, and maybe we can kill whatever anti-air's there, and then I should win the game. Also, Koal in general really likes his air units, because Koal gets firepower bonuses from roads. Though the downside of attacking from a road is you're attacking from 0-star terrain. But air units always are on 0-star terrain, right? They don't get terrain bonuses for defense. However, Koal units get bonuses from attacking from roads, whether they're air units or ground units. I believe he would also if you had a pre-deployed naval unit on a road somehow. But Koal likes air units because on roads, they get his firepower bonuses, and they don't get the disadvantage of being on a road, because they're always 0-star terrain. Okay, so tank comes in, clears out this tank, or hits down the tank, and sees the copter in this tank. You always want to get your vision first before attacking, so this is a good vision. Hits the copter with the anti-air, knocks it down to 3, copter knocks it down to 1, hits this tank on the road, clears it out, checks the forest, see if there's anything there. Sees nothing, goes for these captures, and then hits down that tank. Clears out the copter, swinging this 4 HP over here. So there's infantry in the city, it's like at 5 HP. I think both these are going to get interrupted by infantry, because I think Koal's going to super next turn. But this is a pretty good attack, and notice there are reinforcements. An anti-air coming in, and a tank coming in. As well as a Neo-tank eventually. And the Neo-tank from over here actually front shifts. I like this. Attack where you're strong. Don't send this Neo-tank without support. Neo-tank only have 1 vision, so in Fog, you can actually kind of neutralize the Neo-tank just by killing all the other units. If it can't see you, it can't shoot you. That's my pro tip. Make sure if you're going to get into a gunfight with somebody, do it at night. That way they can't see you. Probably that was too American. Let's take out the gun jokes. Alright. And Neo-tank comes in. Notice he does not attack the pipe seam. Oh, never mind. He does attack the pipe seam. This is really bad to do. Your opponent can see this. Your opponent can see that you attacked the pipe seam and see that you did, what, it was at 82 and then goes down to 16. Your opponent knows this is a Neo-tank. Nothing else does that much damage. Either Neo-tank or Bomber. I think actually Bomber does more. So it knows this is a Neo-tank. This tells your opponent there's a Neo-tank coming on this side. Don't give your opponent that information. There is a point to breaking this pipe seam, but like use an artillery if you're going to do that. Use mech, use copters. Don't use a Neo-tank. That reveals way too much information just to speed up reinforcement from this base a little bit. To make it equivalent to this base, I don't think it's worth. Same for this pipe seam. This pipe seam actually has more merit, but this side is going to be naturally a little weaker just because these two typically want to send to this side, and this wants to send over here. So I don't think either pipe seam is really that worth clearing. I probably should have mentioned that in the map recap, but we're just learning things. Alright. It goes for this capture in the lab. Lab doesn't matter other than if you're tied on properties, the lab will bump you up to win after 30 days. But we're on day 15. Just capping it just to cap it. Nothing better to do. Fair enough. Builds copter, artillery, and anti-air. Koal doesn't even wait. Pops that trail of low. So sends infantry forward, gets some vision. Sends infantry forward, gets some vision. Sends a black boat to get some vision. Hits that tank. Hits that anti-air. Sends in the tank from over here. Clears it out. Sends in the copter to clear out that tank. Sends in that copter to hit that tank. And then infantry comes in and interrupts. Infantry clears. Didn't know the city was capturing. Not really a way to know. Tank clears out that infantry. This infantry starts capturing. Sees the tank there. Hits it with the infantry. And gets the clear. 3 infantry just absolutely bullied that tank. And then the artillery comes in and says, look, you can attack me, but I'm covering all my guys except for this 9 HP. And I guess this guy too, but it's going to be hard to get into here. Infantry goes forward. And Bomber in a nice central position. You can attack either side. And of course, Bomber will have two less movement next turn, but very strong position. And this is going to be so unfortunate for Adder. This new tank's going to come in and get bombed. And I expect he's going to use this anti-air to hit these copters without clearing all the tanks. And I think the anti-air is going to go down and the bomber's going to have free reign. It's going to be very tough for Adder to deal with that. Okay, and Koal builds copter, tank, double infantry, keeping unit count high. You can see Koal's up 8 units. Only up 7k army value at the end of his turn. Again, you'd expect it a little bit behind. Also down 3k income. It's about to be 4k. Although probably he's going to get this flipped to make it only 2k. And Adder pops a side slip right away. Not sure why. Maybe it's needed to get that KO. Yep, you need a side slip to guarantee the KO. Without side slip, it's a 0% chance. So it goes for the KO there. Captures that city. Moves infantry forward, just making a wall. Clears out the copter, just making a wall. Not attacking, just walling up. Okay, I like that. Though this is not a very good wall. This infantry can get cleared out pretty easily, but I guess you can only hit the anti-air from one side. So I guess it works alright. But this bomber, if this infantry gets cleared, this bomber can just hit the anti-air. Of course, it's a bit of a risk because Koal doesn't know if there's another anti-air behind. A good rule of thumb is whenever you're sending out an anti-air that you think might die, just build another anti-air immediately to replace it. Always have an anti-air in reserve that's not going to get killed that turn. If you don't, you run the risk of copters or bombers ruining your life, okay? Tank goes in for the clear. So infantry, tank goes in, hits the infantry, makes an unfortunate discovery of the artillery being there. Adder knew there's artillery on this side, right? The artillery already shot a tank over here. You would expect it to be over in this area with the capturing infantry. Of course, you can't know where it's going to be, but come on. I think this is a little ambitious here. Clears it out. Clears out this pipe seam. Okay, it makes this reinforcement a little bit better. And looks like they resign. Oh no, they just time out. Okay. So they timed out and only got a copter built. So the artillery shoots the tank and the infantry shoots off there, hits that tank down. Okay, so the tank went to shoot from the road to get the added bonus. I think I might have still shot from the planes. Just so this infantry can get the added chip. Let's just check the damage here. Okay. There's a chance it clears it from the road. Fair enough. And I guess you get to force him to repair that tank and make it less useful. Okay. So goes for that hit and then hits the Neo tank. This anti-air is definitely going to hit the copter. I guess it's only going to do like 4 HP damage. So you're trading 6 for 6. I guess it's pretty even, and then the bomber will clear the anti-air afterwards. Okay, fair enough. And the bomber gets immediate value hitting a Neo tank that's been revealed. Though Adder knows there's another Neo tank over here because they're hitting the pipe seam here. So Koal knows there's another a Neo tank over here. So I'm expecting Koal to build another bomber this turn. And he does not get the chance. Adder resigns. It's a bit of a fair resign, I think. There's no anti-air coming. That timeout really was unfortunate. I think if they built an anti-air right here, you built to get there quick enough. And this attack is kind of dead over here. You just need to back up. But Adder is ahead. 4k income. Sure, this capture is going to go through, but like still be up. 25k to 23. So still 2k income lead. Army value is not that bad, especially if he got his buys off. Now, I do think that Koal is a bit of a better position here. Up unit count. This bomber is kind of uncontested. Probably going to build another bomber this turn. But I will say, I think it's also a good lesson in resiliency here. Just take a look. You can imagine yourself being in Adder's position and kind of feeling, pretty annoyed about the bomber coming in, this anti-air getting hit, timing out, and saying, you know what? Throwing in the towel, I think I lost. Play it out, right? Play it out for a couple more turns. Try and keep your mental in it. Advance Wars, while it is a strategy game, it's also a game of mental. All competitions involve some amount of mental resilience, so it's good to keep your head in the game. Now, I know I experienced this a lot in Global League, really asynchronous games where I just have a turn and I do something dumb, or my opponent gets a nice lucky roll, or I overlook something, and I'm like, ugh, I should just resign. I lost. take a breath, right? Take a breath, close out, go for a walk, do whatever you want the rest of the day. Look at it tomorrow when you're in a better headspace. Always give yourself a day before you resign, just to think about it and really make sure it makes sense. You know, maybe you resign because you just don't want to play the game out. Maybe you just, you know, you're over it. But play it out. Of course, in live, you don't have that luxury. You gotta lock in. You gotta keep going. But at least in live, you don't have to suffer long, right? Just play for another 10 minutes. If it still feels hopeless, tap out. No problem. So, while I do think that Koal was advantaged here, I don't think it was over for Adder. But yeah, this is a really fun game. This is a really cool live game. It's my first VOD game I've casted. If you have any replays you want to send in, you think they're fun games, really interesting, send them in. They can be live, they can be asynchronous, Global League, tournament, anything you want. If you think it's a good game, send it to me. You can send it to me on Discord or message me on YouTube. On Discord, I'm Bogeus. I'm in the Advanced Wars by Web Discord channel, a Discord server. I'll try and keep casting some more games. I will catch you all later. Have a good one.